What's going on, everyone? So today I'm going to do a quick pre-market watch list. I usually don't do pre-market watch lists, but today it seems like there's some interesting stuff to go over. So I want to talk about really these four stocks that are all up over 80%. So FRAN, CNET, RCON, RCON, and NTEC. The biggest thing about a lot of these companies is that none of them really has great news to put them up as much as they are. And this is one thing, the best news is probably NTEC. And it really isn't any, it's not like it's like, sales or anything crazy. It's really an agreement that they signed with GW Pharma, who's a big cannabis producer and research collaborator. So they basically entered an agreement with GW Pharma to start researching for their cannabinoid research for their accordion pill platform for the undisclosed research program. So basically this is nothing but an agreement. It's nothing, nothing was actually done to improve the company's financial situation or to, make any significant increase to its revenues or its kind of operating expenses or anything. Like, it really was just an agreement that they signed. And this is the thing about stocks, is that they can be irrationally strong based on kind of no news. So you can see this thing gapping up 126% after they announced that this morning. So basically, they're getting into cannabinoid research, which is interesting, and this stock might be an interesting one to look at today for continuation. Obviously, this thing is relatively strong, and it's pretty easy to borrow shares. So in NTEC, it might give us a pop out the gates, but it's probably going to be a short for most traders. I'm not necessarily going to be long or short bias. Right now it's trending above the volume weighted average price. So, but you see these big dip candles, which I really don't like to see, kind of showing you some weakness. But a lot of times these are just people putting in kind of market orders that are getting executed at very crappy prices. So, this is somebody that bought way the hell down here, or has been holding for the last like 2 weeks, bought at like $3, and then they see it up at $8, and they just put in a market order, and it fills at like, say, $5. And even then they're happy with it because they're still up like $2 a share, right? So that's one of the things when you see these big red candles here, especially when they're like these big wicks that come right back up, it's because typically it's market orders getting filled at any price, and then it immediately comes right back up because you have all the buying volume happening up here, and people that are selling are really just getting out of their positions, which is why these might be big institutional buyers, which is why they have like really large positions. But you see the stock bounce back immediately, which is good. These two candles here are a little more scary because this candle actually closed red, well below the volume weighted average price, but you can see it bounced right back up. So there's a little bit of concern there, which is why I say it might be a short after it gives us a nice pop out the gates. We'll see, but I'm not really short or long biased yet, mainly because it does have decent news. It's not amazing news, it's decent. But anyway, so that's NTEC. We'll see what happens. When you look at kind of going back at the levels, you'll see that this stock has a tendency. So this stock has only been on the market since November, basically since the beginning of November, and it's traded all the way from 220 all the way up to what it's at now, which is $8 basically, right? So it's had a nice run. It's really had no significant reasons for the run other than like they've had some agreements and some things that they've signed, but overall you don't see like a ton of great news on this thing. We can even go back to say back here when we see that they had a reverse split way back on October 29th. So typically when companies do reverse splits, it's because they need to raise money. So they're not performing great. They're not making a ton of money, so they need to raise money from the open market by giving a stock split, which allows them to basically And you see they're still operating at a quarterly loss of 95 cents per share. It's a 55% decrease over the losses from the same period last year, but still, they're still not a profitable company. Now, like I said, they do have these kind of new grants. They're doing a lot of research, and they're partnering with a lot of companies, but there's nothing really substantially in terms of financials to give this thing the rating of to send this thing up 300-400% in the past month. So that's why I kind of think it might be a short, but this is just my opinion, guys. Do what you want with it. But yeah, I just wanted to go over that real quick. Let's move on to the next one, RCON. So this one, and this is where it starts to get kind of sketchy, because these next companies really have nothing of significance going for them. And this is why I'm very skeptical with these stocks that shoot up 100% pre-market and then just fade. And this could be very much one of them, because as you see, there's no news. Like, there's no news on this RCON. There's nothing. Like at least for my platform that I can find, there's nothing. So it's been moving up the last couple days. So it rose 6% yesterday. Nothing crazy, but now it's shooting up over 102%, almost 103% on the day. So that's pretty significant, especially when there is absolutely no news on it. So something to be aware of. As you see here, their shares moves upward 2.7%. Trading volume for the security closed at 245, accounting for 0.04% of the average full day volume over the last 100 days. The market value of their shares is at $6.2 million. So it's a relatively small float, small company, but at the same time, there's really nothing to justify the price. And that's kind of something that, if you're a short seller, at least you kind of think about that. Why is this up 100% on the day when it really has no news? So that's something to be aware of. This started at $1.40. It made a run to $3.55. Now it's back to under $3. But we'll see how this goes. Like I said, I think this is going to be another short for the day. Basically, all of these stocks, I'm going to tell you, I believe they're short, but I'm not going to be 100% biased out the gate, because there could be potential for runs, and the market is very irrational, so you shouldn't just react right out the gates. Wait for an opportunity, wait for later on in the day, and then you'll see these will probably end up selling off. That's just my opinion. It is not trading advice, so do not take it as such. It's simply just my opinion. So this next one here, CNET, basically these guys are the only ones that actually have decent news. So this CNET here is a Chinese company, ZW Data Action Technologies, and they have officially opened its first live streaming platform. So basically this is a TV channel, a live streaming TV channel in China. It was released into the vibrant Guangdong, Hong Kong, Macau, Greater Bay Area. So the platform boasts a 5,000 square meter office that provides a powerful live streaming channel. It features live streaming e-commerce support service, influencer stream shopping, private traffic boosting, supply chain service, and supply chain finance. On its opening day, the platform proudly welcomed its first tenant, Live Streaming Professionals Committee of China, Association of National Advertisers. So what this is basically like a new kind of online web-based streaming service. So this is, like it says here, is exploding in China in the past few years. It's going to be reaching at roughly 1.5 trillion in 2020 and 2.2 trillion. That's the whole market will be worth about 2.2 trillion in 2021. So the company expects its live stream business to bring in 50 million revenue in 2021 and keep a double-digit growth. The company also plans to develop live streaming business at its core business and one of the major profit generators. So, this just goes on to explain how their platforms is kind of using blockchain and doing things that are very much with the times, kind of like this new age kind of technological revolution kind of thing that we've had happening in the past couple, the past year because of COVID, really. But in the end, it's forcing a lot of these technology-based, streaming service-based companies to basically expand because they've had the ability to, and they've had people pouring money into these businesses because they've shown that this online integrated business is probably one of the most profitable and will be one of the most profitable businesses for the next few years. So, as people are still scared to go outside, still scared of COVID, and either way, COVID has kind of facilitated the transition into a more technology-based society, not just in North America, but throughout the world. So this is, boding well for a stock like CNET. So obviously you can see the chart. It doesn't look that great. It's kind of popped up, and then now it's kind of fading below the volume weighted average price, and it's starting to pop back up a little bit. So we'll see what happens. But at the end of the day, in terms of news between these top stocks that I'm going to go over today, that one has definitely, CNET definitely has the best news, and something that could be potentially good for the next, for the next little bit. And this actually just came out, this report here. So this company here, FRAN, F-R-A-N, is, it's basically a company that has filed for bankruptcy. So they filed for Chapter 11. So basically they are selling the company, and you can see here, so this is basically saying that they had first day motions to support ongoing operations, basically saying that they can continue operating until somebody buys them. So they can pay their debts, they can, get rid of their, sell products, they can open their stores, they can do whatever they want until somebody basically takes control of the company. And you can see here a final hearing on the first day motions, as well as hearing to consider approval of the company's bidding procedures that will allow interested parties to submit binding offers to acquire substantially all of the company's assets, is scheduled for January 4th, 2021. So basically, this company commenced its voluntary Chapter 11 cases to reorganize under Chapter 11 of the U.S. Bankruptcy Code on December 3rd, 2020. So last week it announced basically that they're filing for bankruptcy and that they're trying to sell. This shows you back here how they are trading lower on continued weakness after the company last week filed for Chapter 11. So this was yesterday. So the stock was down yesterday, and today it's up again after they released this announcement that they're basically able to continue operating until they can sell all of their assets. And they are a holding company that operates a chain of retail boutiques that offers fashion apparel, jewelry, accessories, and gifts primarily for women. So the stock has a 52-week high of 1991 and a 52-week low of 170. And if you see by the chart, it's basically trading around that low. Basically, it's trading around like $3. It shot up this morning to almost $6, but now it's right back down. I see this thing probably, maybe giving a little pop, but then at the end of the day, it's just going to end up right back down towards that low, mainly because it's not good news. Like, they filed for bankruptcy. They will be bankrupt. Somebody will be buying the company in a month. So you have another month of this stock trading, and then who knows? Maybe it gets bought up in an acquisition by another company. Maybe it continues trading. Who knows? But more than likely, it will get absorbed by another company who will buy the company and all its assets, probably in an all-stock acquisition, meaning that this company will no longer exist. Now, does that mean that you shouldn't trade it today? No. It could give you an opportunity, particularly to the short side, in my opinion, but who knows? As you can see, it's kind of trading below the volume weighted average price, giving you this kind of lower highs, starting to show you this downward pressure. A lot of selling volume, but we'll see. It still could give us an opportunity to pop up, out the gates. Maybe it shoots up back to the highs, and then you get a chance to go long, maybe around 5, and then maybe you go short when it hits above 6, around the 650 mark. That would be my game plan, but who knows? Everybody has their own kind of idea, but either way, the stock, is relatively weak. It's been relatively weak for a long time, so you can see this kind of resistance forming at like the $4 mark, kind of like this 450, 435 area. There's a lot of resistance, even at the $4 mark, and then at 650, the same area where it bounced pre-market, there's also a ton of resistance. So you can see these big red candles, just showing you that some days it's a pump and dump. It gets pumped and then it dumps, gets pumped and then it dumps, gets pumped and then it dumps. So this is typical of this stock, which is why I say that it's probably going to be a short. Maybe not right out the gates. You might see this thing pop towards 6, but then I would probably be looking for a short. Anyway, that's FRAN. Like I said, it's nothing amazing. I didn't even look at this one yet. So USIO shares are trading higher after a 10% plus owner Top Line Capital purchased almost 100,000 shares at an average price of $1.79. So that's an interesting, it's an interesting report there. basically that one of the biggest owners in the company, so basically a insider, has bought more shares of the company, so probably meaning that they believe in the company. They believe that the company is going to do good things, and that it's probably something to keep an eye on. I don't know. I don't really know what they. Okay, so they're in the information management solutions business. So they're basically a like a insurance or a information based company, research based company. I don't know much about them, to be honest with you. So, this stock, this announcement is a good one. It's not a terrible one. Stock's still up 43% on the day. You can see it kind of starting to pull back from its highs. So we'll see what happens here pre-market. We just had a pop here above the VWAP, but then a reject, and it's now trading below the volume weighted average price. So we'll see. It might give us some opportunities out the gates. Like I said, it's a decent announcement. You can see the volume on it is relatively low though. Barely 100,000 shares being traded, other than 5 o'clock this morning. So I'd like to see more volume in this before I actually thought about trading it, but who knows? It'll stay on my watch list, and I might give it a big opportunity. The only other stock that I want to talk about is CRIS. Now, CRIS is a company that if you're going to trade today, you need to be very careful and very mindful about what could happen, because this stock, if you go through its, and this is exactly what I'm talking about right here, right? CRIS announced proposed public offering of common stock, terms not disclosed. So what this means is that they are basically going to be selling a crapload of shares at a price that has not been disclosed. So what will happen? What could happen with CRIS today is if they announce a public offering. So this thing went from like $2 yesterday or $1 yesterday to like about $8-9, and now it's trading around $9. So this thing has gone up 300-400% in the past 2 days, basically. And there's really no good news. There's nothing to, they had some, announcement on their cancer research for leukemia or something but when you look at the company's financials, they are not doing good, and they've been operating on a net loss for the past forever. So what you got to understand is this company, because the stock is up so much, they're looking to raise money, which means they're going to be doing a public stock offering, which is what they're saying here. CRIS announces proposed public offering of common stock, terms not disclosed. So what this means is that they will get a big institutional buyer to give them, say, like $50 million, and they'll say, hey, you give us $50 million, we'll give you so many shares at, say, $6. And if that happens, this stock, which it pretty much, they've told you here, it will happen, this stock is going to drop from 8 down to 6, could be 5, could be 4, could be $3. They could come in and say, hey, we'll give you $50 million for $3 a share. And if that happens, this stock is going to drop 50% in probably less than an hour. So that's something you need to be aware of. I'm not going to be trading CRIS today. Even if it goes up 200% again, I probably won't touch it unless it happens once in the first few minutes of trading and it shoots up like huge. Maybe I'll take a quick scalp, but it will not be holding for longer than a minute or two. You want to get it in and out on this thing. You don't want to be holding this thing unless you're going short. You don't want to be holding this thing for any significant periods of time. Anyway, that's just my opinion. So that's it for today. That's my watch list for small caps. I don't see anything crazy moving in the large cap room, and I'm not usually too big into large caps, so I won't go over anything there. If there is anything you want me to talk about, let me know, and maybe I'll discuss it in the comments below. Other than that, please like, subscribe, let me know what you guys think, and you can see CRIS is starting to fall below the volume weighted average price, and maybe it's just going to be a sell-off from here. We'll see. But either way, that's it. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a great day.